really kicking it off with a bang. Hi, Ghosty fam. Welcome to The Activity Continues, a podcast where three soul friends talk about all things paranormal, ghosts, hauntings, psychics, movies, and TV shows, especially the Dead Files. We also like to interview people in the paranormal community, as well as past Dead Files clients and other interesting people. Sometimes we even tell your stories. This week, we are talking about a Dead Files episode. I'm Megan, and please say hello to AP, who's going to tell you which episode we are talking about and why she chose this one.
Hey everyone, it's AP here. Yeah, we are going to be covering an episode called No Vacancy that aired on April 16th, 2016. It is season 6, episode 3. If you happen to look it up, I think it shows on IMDb as episode 7, or season 7, I should say, episode 3, because all of their stuff is all screwy, and Amy and I have talked about this a few times as I try to navigate. So I chose No Vacancy last week while sitting around after Christmas and taking that day off. I was flipping through things and like, oh, I'm going to get ahead, and watched an episode that I thought we were covering last week, which we are covering next week, and found this one, which is, I like to find the ones that are not houses, the ones that maybe have a unique history to them. And lo and behold, did I find one with a very interesting and unique history.
Yes.
So I can't wait
I
to
have thoughts
jump
about the
into
clients.
this. Oh, me too. But I will also say my dad he's like, I'm going to join one of these times. And I told him what the episode name was. And he's like, oh, I bet it's about a hotel, isn't it? And they're having some paranormal experiences they can't explain, right? He's being sarcastic.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Good job.
Little on
Can't
the
get
nose.
anything past him. Boy, he is sharp.
He was a kindergarten through 8th grade Phi-Ed teacher for over 40 years. So
oh my goodness.
yeah, he's on top of it.
I think he
Got it.
missed his calling as a detective.
Well, he did have to do a lot of detecting as a Phi-Ed
I'm
teacher
sure.
of kids who
8th
only
graders.
trust him
my
most of the
God.
time. Oh, no. His was mostly younger kids, and the teachers would drop off and say, I think one of them went in their pants, but I don't know which one.
Oh my God.
No.
Oh, yeah.
That's terrible.
Oh, yeah. So he'd
That's
have to
terrible. Gross.
figure out which kindergartner had gone to the bathroom and send them to the nurse's office.
Nurse, yeah.
Kids are so gross.
Kids are gross. Not as gross as cats. I think it goes like
I don't
cats
know.
are the grossest. Then dogs and kids are tied.
No.
No,
Dogs to me are way grosser than kids.
You've never had a
Oh.
cat throw a bird up on your face in the middle of the night.
No, but I
That's
have
why
had my
cats
son
take the
projectile shit on me at like 3 weeks old.
So I'm going to put dogs at the
Kids
bottom
might,
of this list.
yeah, dogs might be the easiest.
Dogs are
Dogs pre-wash your dishes. They pre-wash your floor. They
No.
pre-wash people's faces and hands.
Gross. Oh.
Okay, but would you prefer to have all the boogers and snot and cheese that's smeared on children's faces? And yes, this is coming from experience, having
Yes.
had them
I
wipe their
would.
face on me. Ugh.
Because I can just easily wipe it off, whereas a dog that licks its asshole and its balls and its hoo-ha is now licking my face with this soft, velvet, gross tongue. Ugh. No, thank you. We can just agree to disagree
I'll
on
take a
this.
dog over a child any day.
I will too.
No, I'll take other people's dogs.
Yeah.
Just
I
not
hold
my own.
children until they cry, and then they
Speaking
go,
Anyway, so
where were we?
we were on. I'm going to talk about a content warning. This is Amy, and so this one we do know ahead of time what we're going to talk about because it was all in the episode, and there's a lot. That was quite a bit. So there's a lot of talk about mental illness, and some of it not very considerate, Steve.
Yes. Shocking.
And so there was also suicide, devastating fires, beatings.
Lots of them.
Beatings, murder, and sexy dancing.
We titled this one Devastating Fires, Assault, and Sexy Dancing. Oh my.
Yeah. Megan, what do you think? Should the oh my be in there?
You know what? I like it. We've
Okay.
never done it before. So
It's a great idea.
it's revolutionary.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
Shut up.
I had
That was
time
good.
to think while you guys were chatting.
Too soon. Too soon,
Oh.
Amy.
Oh.
So, little housekeeping. We have secured another Dead Files client. We won't be talking to them for a couple of weeks, so I don't want to announce who it is yet, but it was a really good episode and we're really excited to speak with them.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a couple other people in the wings that we're just trying to figure out dates and stuff for. And one of them is a paranormal investigator that has some serious cred. Like she has
Ooh,
worked with
that's right.
people people we all have heard of. So
Not that we know
nice.
personally, just people we
no, right.
feel like we know.
People that everybody in the paranormal
Yeah.
world knows.
Yeah.
So, that's coming up. Stick around for that. If you're not already a patron, come on over and join us. We're having lots of cool conversations over there with this amazing
Mhm.
group of people who love all this stuff. And we
Awesome
love to
group of
talk
people.
about it. Yeah. Yeah. Really, really nice, engaging, fun to talk to. We've got
Mhm.
a chat going, and plus we always have conversations going on in the comments from each of the episodes. And all the
Yep.
episodes are released early and ad-free,
Mm-hmm.
as they like to say. So
As
yeah,
the
come on
cool
over.
kids say. And
As
you
the
can
cool
join
kids
for as
say.
little as $1 a month.
That's right. That's right. You can join for free too. You won't get all
You
the
can join for free.
early
You won't get the
stuff.
extra content, but you can
Yeah.
still join the chats.
Yeah, and you can still chat and everything. Yeah. Yep.
But if you do pay at least $1, you help us get new ring lights that aren't as janky as being
That's
taped
right.
to a monitor.
That's right. You know what we should do, and I have done this, I just haven't announced it necessarily or promoted it at all, but I do have an Amazon wish list of things that I would like for us to have. So
Mhm.
maybe I'll put a link to that in the show notes. And if you guys want to throw us something.
Yeah.
I don't expect anyone to buy the $300 microphone. I'm
Oh, God.
really saving up for that
Then
one.
don't
but-
even bother.
I'll take charity. I'll
Yeah.
still take charity.
Yeah, I'll take whatever.
Yeah.
Ring lights are not expensive,
No,
but
I
you
just
know.
happen to have broken mine and it needs to be up higher, and the only up higher is on top of my work monitor. So it's taped up there. It's
That's why we
fine.
don't
It's
have
fine.
nice
Everything's fine.
things.
Everything's fine. Okay, shall we
All
begin?
right. Let's do it to it.
AP, do you have the overview?
I do. Give me
Okay.
1 second. Everything just is wanting to settle today. Yes, I do have the overview. So if we're ready to jump
Mhm.
into it after
Yeah.
24 minutes of conversation.
That's probably a new record of very short time for us.
I was
Shortest
gonna
time.
say it's been a while, ladies.
It
All
has.
right. So we are talking about season 6, episode 3, No Vacancy. This is the Holbrook Hotel in Grass Valley, California. If you have not watched this episode, I highly suggest you go and watch and listen for every time they say heart of the city, heart of the town, heart of Grass Valley.
Yes.
You will be drunk by the end of it if you do.
Basically,
If you play a drinking
according
game.
to them, the only thing keeping this town going is this hotel.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Without
Yeah.
this hotel, the ground or the town would just fizzle.
Yeah.
Correct. So I'll give you guys just a quick overview and then we'll dive more into areas that we all enjoyed. But this area is 60 miles northeast of Sacramento. And I did drop a link into my notes for Amy to put into the chat if anybody wants on the Holbrook Hotel, which is still operating. So
Cool.
Of course
we
it is.
first run into our owners and some of the issues that they're having. Our owner is
Oh my God, are you
Ian.
okay? Because you ran into
Ran
him.
in head first.
Yeah, get out of my way. Ian has owned the Holbrook Hotel for 5 years and knows it's haunted. He believes it ruined his marriage because shortly after he took hold of running this hotel, his marriage fizzled. Potentially it had some stuff to do with it, but if it's right after, methinks other things are going on.
He's a
And
douche.
It's attacking his employees and people are running out in the middle of the night. He's had at
Mhm.
least 3 paranormal groups in 4 years. They've all said it's haunted, but they've done nothing or given any options
Mhm.
to help. All the employees have experiences Things move, things are seen, people are touched, the three basics.
Mhm.
Steve's investigation into the historical part of this is that it dates back over 150 years. There's a history of at least 5 fires of note in
No,
the area.
Amy, 5 devastating fires.
Sorry, 5
Devastating.
devastating fires to note that were in the area.
They mentioned that multiple times in the
yes.
episode.
Murder and violence throughout. I mean, this hotel was part of an area in the gold rush, in the Wild West, and
It started as a saloon, right?
Yes.
And then the first devastating fire.
Before it
took
burned
it
down the
out.
first time. Yep.
The first time. Yeah.
And then, of course, during the investigation, we learn of a beautiful and powerful woman in the 1800s who is a big subject of conversation and controversy.
Mm-hmm.
In Amy's investigation, she has a sense of happiness and tragedy cycles. So it's happening over and over and over again. The dead are running amok, so much going on, and lots of.
Come on.
I knew you were going to do that. And lots of
Someone had
residual
to.
energy.
Exactly.
So yeah, energy, people are going to be feeling this, she thinks, because the residual is so strong as well. It's
Mhm.
not just.
Yeah. It's not just
cognizant.
like hauntings. It's
Yep.
residual because so much shit has gone down in this
At one
place.
point, she
It
talks
is the
about-
heart of the town, after all.
It is. She says that someone seems obsessed with investigations here. Ding, ding, ding. And she says it is one of those most haunted places she's been to, which says a lot.
Yeah.
In the reveal and conclusion, interestingly, we have a bunch of surprises that show up that were not in Steve's conversations and interviews. Like the owner employees share things that they didn't share with Steve. Amy questions her thoughts due to new information. And someone Amy names is not found in Steve's research. So there was just a lot of surprises that popped up.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Steve says some things that are questionable at best, even in 2015, 2016, definitely relating towards mental health. And then Amy claims that only 5% of all hotels she's ever covered or investigated in her life are as active as this one,
Mhm.
and that it would take years and a
Yeah.
village to clear the area. So
And make
she
it-
provides protection rituals and things that can be done. And we get that the activity has lessened.
Mhm.
It continues, but
Mhm.
Mhm.
he's following the steps that she provided, because she's like, there, you can't get rid of this shit. It's not going
No,
away.
no, he's following the alternate steps she provided because her
Yes.
initial recommendation was get out. You
Yes.
Beep.
can't
But you can't.
can't be here. But he's like, no, man, it's the heart of the city.
Yep.
Okay, nobody gives 2 fucks about your hotel. Okay,
But-
I'm sure they do, but
What
not.
what she said at one point is that, I think it was her at one point, that places that are often like this eventually go vacant and
Yeah.
they become the broken down, beat up,
Mhm.
because it is a historical landmark.
Mhm.
So it is something that is likely to be saved anyways.
Yeah.
So it's not something that's just going to
They can't
Fall
just
into
knock it down
oblivion.
and
burn
put up a
down
condo.
again. They can't, they're not going to knock it down. It's on a historical landmark. So other things that I saw is it was also on Hotel Impossible. I don't know if you guys, it was kind of
Oh.
like Restaurant Impossible, but you know,
Mhm.
where they bring in somebody who starts screaming at all the staff and telling them how
Yeah.
terrible they are and
Like
trying to
bar
renovate
rescue?
things. Yep. And I'm pretty sure that was after Ian became an owner.
Mhm.
I
And
believe
then
it.
it was also on Ghost Posse Incorporated in 2014. I don't know what that is, but I just happened to see that. So,
Huh.
and there's a couple other articles that are from the local area about Ghost Posse takes over the Grass Valley Holbrook Hotel for a weekend or whatever it was.
Mhm.
I feel like our other
Interesting.
favorite team has been here before. The bar looks really familiar, but it
Hmm.
could just be a bar that looks like another saloon style bar.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do
I
you
don't
guys
know.
want to
I
start
didn't look
at?
at that one. Well, let's see. Let's see. Yeah, she saw so many people. I mean, she was like, and then there's this guy named Paul, and then there's this lady, and then there's this, and I'm like, guy strangling a woman. And I mean, obviously a hotel has a lot of people coming and going, so it's
Mhm.
not terribly surprising. But I'm surprised they all showed themselves to her, and that makes
Mhm.
me think there's probably even a lot more that she didn't even see.
Well, the
Or
drawing
that's
that
not
she
even
had
talked
had a
about.
bunch of people in the
Yep.
hallway. I
Yeah,
mean,
that sketch was creepy.
yeah, it was. The no exit above it too.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
yeah.
it makes you
That was a good touch.
makes
Yeah.
you wonder what was in this area or in some of these hotels that were set up in the Wild West. Yes, there was a lot of death and everything going on, but some of them are as haunted or more haunted than locations that have 1,000 years of
Mhm.
history. So what is it the greed that's drawing people in? Is it the actions that are taking place all around it that are also
Maybe.
like, these are things that were going through my mind as they're talking about this, because it's like, it's just another Old West saloon or an
Mhm.
Old West town that didn't become a ghost town.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
But it is the heart of the city.
Yeah,
it is.
the
It
heart.
is for sure.
This guy seemed to me like he didn't give two shits what they were going to tell him. It was just a publicity stunt.
That is
Yeah.
exactly how I felt with him the whole time,
Yeah.
especially, the whole talking about his marriage and, a couple of the
Mhm.
others are like, yeah, I've been in relationships with people here. And I'm like, I do think that there is some things that can play into it, or if there's, people who have experiences and those who don't. And then there's the question of like, are you stable?
Mhm.
Those sorts of things can play into it. I think, was it Terry, one of the other employees ex-employees that she
Yeah.
hadn't been there? Was it Terry or Kelly? No, Kelly. Kelly's the former
The front desk
employee.
lady. Yeah.
Yep.
Which I thought was really weird that not only was she there, like interviewing, that's fine. They interview or former employees a lot,
Yeah,
but she was in the reveal.
I thought
was
that
like,
was
that's
odd too.
But then
Weird.
she said she loved this place and it was the
It was
heart
like
of
her
the city.
it was like her daughter. It was another
Yes.
child to
Yes,
her.
it was a child to her. I think that's why they let her in, because
She knew the game.
I wondered if she was a little possessed by something there.
Right.
Or that she, like we were talking,
Mhm.
we have been talking about the episode called Toys for the Dead, where
Mhm.
the one that was in Butte, Montana, with
Yep.
the Dumas Hotel /
Yep.
brothel.
Yes.
And that the Michael, remember Twitchy Michael?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Turns out he was an addict and he died shortly after this
Yes,
whole
that's
thing.
right.
And I just recently watched the Baggins episode of that
GA. Yep.
story. And that
Oh my God,
was
that's what GA stood for in the chat. I was so
yeah,
confused.
not Georgia.
I was like, Georgia.
Yeah, I watched that episode, and they of course they overplay everything, but he was like way worse than he was when the Dead Files were there.
Mm.
He was like shaking and doing weird shit. It was hard to watch. It was really
Yeah,
hard to
yeah.
watch. And then they kept saying he's totally different outside the hotel. And I'm like, well, show us that then. Because all
Yeah.
we see is him looking like he's
Twitching.
tweaking.
Yeah.
And so anyway, but I think because I've had that on the brain, I was thinking, I wonder if Kelly has some kind of weird connection like
Well, and
Michael and
But
the
Amy
other
would
lady
have,
did.
I feel like Amy would have said that. She would have talked about,
I mean,
Maybe.
I feel that way too, but maybe there was just so much stuff that it was hard to
Yeah.
pinpoint.
and maybe
because-
she did say that and they just
they
didn't
cut
pub-
it.
Yeah, and
they cut it.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Because I do think we have seen other episodes too where you need to have, you're attached to this house. You don't even want to be here. Or it's, well,
Mhm.
the spirit of so-and-so, that's actually you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You've come back. And the reason why you're attached to this is because of where you lived in your previous life. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was curious about that. Or she just knows how to run the conversation to make sure
Mhm.
that she's on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that could be. Yep.
I wonder how
Just
Amy
throwing that
feels
out
about,
as a devil's advocate.
Right.
I wonder how Amy feels about places that call them in and don't take their advice.
I think she's probably pretty annoyed. I know she's not.
because it would be like a waste of her time. Like
Yeah.
this was a huge waste of
Mhm.
their time.
Yeah.
And they could have helped somebody else who actually
Exactly.
wanted the help.
That's what bothers me, is they could have helped somebody who maybe wasn't going to be as great a TV,
Right.
draw or
Instead of,
whatever.
oh my God,
But-
here's my father's book that he wrote about this.
Oh, dear Brittany. Oh boy.
But yeah, everybody in this except Terry, I felt were just there to get publicity.
Yep.
Mhm.
Well, and I thought
I
it was
was-
really interesting when all of a sudden, and one of the things that came up in the reveal that Ian didn't talk about during his interview with Steve was, oh, that hallway, I have to walk that all the time to my office.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're right.
And
I
right
do
after-
have these feelings, and this does happen. And
right
the
after I
ceiling
bought it,
caved
the
in.
ceiling caved
Yeah.
in. And it's
and
like,
then
okay, but
that's
this is a
when-
150-year-old building. Like, you think maybe there was some structural issues
Yeah.
and it
And
wasn't
that's when-
paranormal? Oh, sorry, paranormal's the only explanation.
The only
Exactly.
explanation.
that's the shirt I'm wearing right now.
I am
I
too.
know.
I just have mine covered up with a flannel because it's freezing in my office.
But I do think that was one of the spots where Amy was like, well, I guess I have to rethink like who might be causing some of this, because with that information that was coming in, because Terry was like, yeah, I've had where I like my hand gets flipped, you know,
Yeah,
and that's
like carrying a tray
Like-
and someone
like
flips
small-
the tray.
well, we see it in like movies all the time or something where somebody's a server walking through the restaurant and small children are ducking under and flip
Mhm.
it. That's what I pictured when she was like, yeah, it was
Yeah.
like it got flipped up in my hand.
Mhm.
But I'm pretty sure that is one of those that Amy was like, well, I guess I need to rethink about who might be causing some of this.
Mhm.
And the name Paul was the one that Steve didn't find anything on, at
Mhm.
least that we
Right.
see.
Yeah.
But she's like, yeah, he's here and he likes to play tricks. He hides in the storage area. He likes to move things. But it didn't seem like he's just weird, she called him, a
Yeah,
weird dead guy.
But he's not like malevolent.
no, he wasn't malicious, but he liked to pull pranks.
Well, I don't know. I have in my notes, maybe I screwed something up, but I have in my notes, he touches people and he hides in the kitchen and all that. And I said, Amy's concerned that he's more dangerous than she thought. And his main goal is to get
That
rid
could
of
be.
the living.
I wasn't
then
sure if it was tied to him or not.
Oh, that's
Who
what
knows?
I thought, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. One thing, okay, so let's touch quickly on, or not quickly, but
He gets aggressive when he feels cornered. That's what I have. She
okay.
has him as a very aggressive male, but he likes little spaces, but gets aggressive when he's cornered, but likes to hide and break things. But it
Okay.
was more that he was doing some of that, but could get more dangerous.
Okay.
But something dangerous here. She was seeing a man strangling the woman. The
Mhm.
snippets from the past were almost more dangerous. She said the dead people running amok in the hallway. A woman crying, pacing, drinking morphine. So those were all like residual hauntings that she
Mhm.
was seeing, or people that were caught completely in that state. But she didn't like the woman with the iron fist, who's a mess, is seen in different areas and has a male had to put her in her place because she was too big for her britches.
Mhm.
I hated that so much.
Oh, I know.
Mhm.
She was, but
Oh, you
she
mean
was
she had thoughts and
Yeah,
like
she was
her own
powerful.
person?
she was powerful. People
Mhm.
liked her. And she was respected and she was
And she was
listened to.
smart.
But
I mean,
she was a woman.
so was she actually smart?
No,
Probably not.
Couldn't have
none
been.
of that.
Probably
Um,
not.
Speaking of that woman, they said they thought that was Lola Montez, the dancer.
Mhm.
I don't think it was. I think it
Oh.
was Ellen. I think it was Ellen or Eleanor, who was the Holbrook, the wife, the widow,
Okay.
who
Yep.
when he died, she ran the place for 20 some
Mhm.
years by herself.
That's
Yep.
true.
Until
Because when they showed her obituary, I paused and I read it. And I want to see if
Because
I think
Lola
took
went
notes
back to
on
like
this.
New York or something like that.
yeah, Lola
after-
wasn't like ran anything with an iron fist. This lady did. And
she was a
when-
showgirl.
Lola
Well,
was, yeah.
But Lola, I wonder if maybe
Copacabana.
like they were getting two different people, but it was coming across as one. Maybe Lola took it or Eleanor took in some of that
Mhm.
energy or
Lola's
something
energy,
from
That
yeah.
could
Lola.
be. That could be because
And-
Lola came before Ellen. She
Yeah.
And I
did.
mean, just because she did move to New York doesn't mean that she came back after she died.
Right.
Yeah.
How many times,
But-
I mean, Amy said that, before, like the dead
Yeah.
can go anywhere.
And
Yeah.
Amy, I do like that thought though, because I was kind of like, I don't feel like in what they told us in the history that Lola was ruling with an iron fist. She was persuasive and she
Yes.
was able to bend the ear of those who were more in power because it was the king of, I can't remember.
Bavaria.
Spain or something.
Yeah.
Bavaria.
That's the same
Yeah,
thing.
king of-
I'm just kidding. I know it's not, you guys. I know it's not. I don't want to offend
And-
anybody listening in Spain or Bavaria. I know it's completely different.
And she, but she, they talked about how she had this power
Mhm.
over men. Ooh,
'Cause she showed her
sexuality, 'cause-
thighs.
Yeah. It was above the
Oh
ankle,
my
man.
God. Not
Mhm.
the
And
thighs, the worst of the body parts.
exactly. But I
think
thought
that she was just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Being
Yeah,
a
I
woman
think so,
in
too.
a shitty time to be a woman. So any time in the world.
I was gonna say when
But-
good.
I think she was just trying to, get the ear of the king to have the
Mhm.
best life for herself.
Sure.
Because what other options were there for women at that time? You
Yeah.
get married and you have babies.
and
like
then we
that's
don't-
literally it.
We don't know what happened to
Or you
get her
become a
out of his
spinster.
court.
Yeah. They just said she fell out of favor. That could mean so many things.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she turned 25. I mean,
She had a
DiCaprio,
girl
what?
instead of a boy. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many things that could have
Yep.
caused her to fall out of favor.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she was just a smart woman who
Yeah.
was using her beauty to her advantage.
Yeah.
Mhm.
In a shitty time.
Yep. No, I agree.
Did that
Um,
mean she ruled with an iron fist? No.
No, she didn't rule anything.
agree.
She didn't run the place.
She didn't rule
Mm-mm.
anything. She was looking out for Lola.
And that's why I was thinking it was Mrs. Holbrook,
Mhm.
because I will read you what I saw in her obit. It said, Mrs. E. E. Holbrook is no more. After years of ill health, the end comes quickly. Born in New Hampshire of old Revolutionary stock. Yes?
After
think you have a
years
question.
of ill health, death comes quickly. Isn't that kind of oxymoronic?
Well, she wasn't dying the whole time she was sick.
But what is, I mean, yeah, that's true.
I don't
Anyways,
know.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. Anyway, she's born in New Hampshire of old Revolutionary stock, Eleanor E. Holbrook. After a
Mhm.
long, hopeless illness, it said she ran the hotel. What?
That's just born of
Stock.
revolutionary stock.
Revolutionary
Like, what is she, a
stock?
fucking horse?
Yeah.
God.
It said she ran the hotel with a rare force of character, personally directing every department, even to the most minute detail. She had a
Mhm.
large heart and great charitable nature. So
Mhm.
that tells me like she was liked, but she
Mhm.
also was really
Yep.
strong and powerful.
Right.
And that made me think it was more like her than
Yeah.
the dancer.
Yeah.
Yep. She did.
The
Yeah.
sexy
She
dancer.
ruled it for 23 years.
Yeah.
So from the fire of 1855 took down the Golden Gate Saloon, which was built in 1851.
Mhm.
And then it was rebuilt as the Exchange
Mhm.
and then became the Holbrook in
The
1879.
fires were like
Mhm.
so close together, though. It was like
Yeah. It's like every 3 or
then
4
like
years.
63,
I-
then 65 or
I
so. They
have
were
them written
so
down
close.
somewhere.
I wrote it down. 1860, 1862, 1873, and 1896.
But the first one was 1855 that took the saloon
Yes.
down.
Yes,
That burned down
you're
to
right.
the ground. Yep.
Yep.
And they were all devastated.
And then
And-
somehow the Holbrook avoided fire after the first. After
Yes,
it
in it-
was yeah.
It said in 1860 and in 1873, everything within 100 feet of the hotel burned down, but the
Mhm.
hotel was fine.
Yep.
Which is
That's weird. Yeah.
Which
Now
then it
that's
also,
paranormal,
like-
in my opinion.
right. But in that way, it makes you think that something was set there to protect it after
Mhm.
maybe it was
Mhm.
people that died in the first fire. Who knows?
Mhm.
Mhm, mhm.
I have seen, God, 30 years ago when I was a kid, we were up in the Boundary Waters and a tree that got struck by lightning started on fire. So it had been
Mhm.
smoldering for days. So it was a pine
Wow.
tree and basically it got pulpy on the inside and the lightning
You know,
strike
that
just let it
happens.
smolder until it burst into flame.
Mhm.
It was kind of a cool thing. I know my dad and a couple other guys that were there with us, they got buckets and they were in the canoe and going over to this island that
Mhm.
there's no campsite on to try and put the fire out. And then we saw the planes coming in and dumping the water.
Oh, cool.
Afterwards, we
Yeah.
went over there. And this is why in connecting it is because there was a whole space in the center of this that was purely green, and everything
Wow.
else in a like 50-yard area was burned.
Weird.
And it
Wow.
was just this one spot. And then, even other parts, and I'm sure people who have experienced being around in wildfires, like weird things don't
Mhm.
burn, or it jumps, or like,
Mhm.
again, the Boundary Waters was on fire almost 15 years ago now, and it's still recovering from that one. But there are
Mhm.
areas that you can see, like, it just bypassed this point. So everything on the island behind it was burned down, but this
Mhm.
one point with like 6
Weird.
trees.
That's weird. Well, it's like
That is
when
bizarre.
tornadoes touch down and they, touch down and destroy every house except one in the
Yeah.
neighborhood.
Because the
Nature's
eye of
fucking
the
scary, right?
storm doesn't have anything going on. It's pretty, it's calm in the middle. So the house could be there.
That's what Twister
and then
showed
everything's
me. Yes.
swirling all around. Yeah.
Well, if that comes straight down and then goes back up, though, but if
Right,
it's
yeah.
rolling
But if
on the
it's
ground,
down
Yeah.
and- Mhm.
It's going to hit it. Yeah.
But yeah,
So, anyways,
It's-
yeah, it's nature's fucking weird.
It is. It's very
It's-
scary. Anyway. Okay. So do we need to say, I think we've talked enough about,
yeah, I think we need to go into some
Lola.
of Steve's comments. Like,
oh God. Okay.
looks like a scene from a mental ward.
What is
Yeah.
that, Steve?
And this was in the reveal. Steve said that about the picture where Amy had all the people in the hallway, and Ian was like, "I can't believe I have to walk through that 20 times a day."
I know. How do you think they feel? You're walking through
Yeah.
them and they're suffering forever.
Exactly. And then my favorite, and by favorite, I mean, I went Steve when she was talking about Amy was talking about how some of the dead put other dead there because they're mentally ill. And Steve goes, so the normal dead put the nutty's head people there?
Yes. Yep.
Steven.
Yep.
Why?
Yep. I have that nutty dead people. Come on, Steve.
Yeah.
We have a fourth co-host.
Oh yeah, I do have here that Paul wants to get rid of the living.
Yeah,
Yep.
I had
Yeah.
the stuff that you said before. I had that in the beginning because that's what she talked about when she
Yep.
saw him first. And then in the reveal is when she said that other stuff.
Yep.
Mhm.
Did you notice, either of you notice when she was talking about the female in charge with the iron fist, very influential, and Hank and Gerald, which were two of the other dead people,
Yes.
had big issues with her. And
Yes.
she said she might look like a fawn apparition.
Mhm.
Like a
And I was
fawn,
like-
like,
A fawn, like FAWN, like a deer.
oh, okay.
Oh, see, I was
fawn
going with
apparition.
mythology.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I was too.
Well, and I Googled fawn apparition to see if it meant something, I couldn't find
Yeah.
anything about
Yeah. Oh God, my dad's emotional support sock puppet, Gary.
it.
This episode is off the rails.
We're
Oh my God,
unhinged.
should I get Skeptic Greg down here now? We could just have a sixsome.
It was a inside joke over the summer because my dad was always complaining because we were playing this game and he was yelling about not getting his way on something. He's behind me, that's why I keep. And I don't know how it came up, but an emotional support sock puppet was something that we talked about in the summer, and so my sister made him one for Christmas with a
nice.
cute
my
little
God.
poem and
I
everything.
saw
so-
that. Yeah. Or I didn't see the poem, but I
Yep.
saw the sock puppet. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the poem is pretty, or like it's like, here's your ESSP, emotional support sock puppet. Gary cares.
Nice.
So if anybody
Yeah.
needs an emotional support sock puppet, my sister's in business now.
Oh God, that's
He's-
not a bad idea. She should
he's-
do that on Etsy.
Well, actually,
Taking
my dad
orders.
told her she should, because the little saying that she put with it is kind of cute, and it's funny because if you, yeah, yes, Gary
Sorry,
is
Amy.
now famous.
We're unhinged tonight. I'm so sorry.
That's fine. No, I don't care.
Any hoodly doodly.
Yeah, I didn't have anything else. I did do a
Uh,
little bit of more digging on Lola, and I found some
Okay.
articles about her with more pictures of her and
Okay.
stuff. So I'll put all
She
that
was
up on the blog.
gorgeous.
She was really
I have
pretty.
a little
yeah.
bit about when Amy gets to the end, when
Okay.
she tells people. So she says, this place is pretty damn active.
Mhm.
And then she tells him that it's like one of the most active that she's seen, saying that it could take many years to clear the town and a lot of people.
Yep.
Ian says, that's not an option. And
No,
she said,
she
this
told
is
him
what
to get out, and he's like, "That's not an option. This
'cause
is
she
the
said,
heart
this
of
is
the
how-
city."
this is places like this end up torn down or vacant. And he said, well,
Yeah.
that's not an option. Kelly said, she's like one of my kids.
I know.
And then Amy said, she would leave as there's nothing you can do to make it totally safe. However, she provided black salt to sprinkle in four corners, black tourmaline and selenite to protect you, and gave him some rituals. There was more to it than that. That's just some.
Right.
But she had concern for the living here and their mental well-being.
Yeah.
Ian said the place being boarded up would be a travesty to
Oh,
go along with the
God.
devastating fires. So he's doing the protections and the activity continues. And they
And
do
she did tell
on their
them,
website.
like-
On their website, they do list it as being haunted.
Of course they do.
And, you know, all of that.
Of course they do.
Mhm.
This is an attraction to them. They only use this for
Yeah.
publicity.
Yeah.
Amy did say that, you know, these are only temporary. You're going to need to redo this every single day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. This is not a one.
And
This
and
is
done.
not a solution. This
I
is a
wonder if-
Band-Aid on a freaking amputated arm.
She
Wow,
said
we went there, huh?
We did. Yeah, I went there.
She said that so keep the dead out, but it can protect you from the dead, but this would be a daily ritual. And
Mhm.
she said, I've seen this with people before when it's something they have to do over and over again. And she said she's worried that they will self-destruct.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Amy actually had to, she says during the reveal, she had to stop investigating because she was getting too dizzy and not feeling good. And there was
Yeah,
just
she was
too much
nauseous.
going on that she had to stop, which if there was, you know, mental health issues in the area, you know, if that was,
Yeah.
or potentially those tormented by being in a fire or something like that, maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Devastating fire.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. This
Yeah.
one just put me off because it, you know, Amy, it gets so emotionally, you know, invested and
Mhm.
it's draining on her, and you just brought her in to fucking give publicity to your
Yeah.
hotel.
Well, and
Yeah.
I think that was very evident when he was like, well,
No.
I've had people in before, but nobody's given me anything to do about them.
And then she gives you something to do, and you're like, nope, can't do it. So you didn't want
So,
anything
which
to
also
do.
is potentially others have given him things to do, but they're not the answer he
Probably.
was looking
But they're
for.
not exactly. He's
Right.
answer shopping. He wants
He basically wanted a free 1-hour commercial for his hotel on the
he
Travel
did.
Channel.
Though I
Yeah.
feel like still slightly better than the last episode of this past season with the one.
Here's my book that my dad wrote about me.
No, the Octagon
it was-
Museum.
That
Oh
yeah, the
God,
museum.
him. Oh God,
Yeah,
he was the fucking worst.
that was not good.
They both were in the
We
top.
should have a list of Megan's fucking worst, top 10 worst. Very curious how many actually make the same list.
Yeah.
I just have opinions on it. They're the worst.
It's okay. We all have opinions.
It's called a
I-
hyperbole, Amy.
No, I just laughed because a show that I listen to in the mornings, they will talk about songs, and one guy will always be like, oh, this is a banger. This is a top 10 song of all time. This is a top 5 song of all time. And so on Wednesdays, they do a battle of the bands or battle of the decades or whatever. So they have 2 lists that they go back and forth on. Some have been like
Mhm.
light and dark or good and evil or
Mhm.
80s versus 90s, whatever.
90s,
And then somebody,
80s.
80s.
90s.
And then
I'm gonna die on this hill.
somebody went through and told like all of the ones he called were a top 10 song and all the ones that he called a top 5 song.
How many were there?
Oh, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
So they only did like,
Like
7
35.
songs or whatever.
Top 5.
But it was just kind of
Top
funny because
5
then
of
they
the top 5.
throw in your microphone
Jeez,
now.
Amy, what is going? We are all unhinged.
I changed my setup
Okay.
so that now my mic cord is sitting like in my lap, and
Got
I
it.
moved my leg and
There it goes. Also, I
goes.
want to say I love that flannel. It is so cute.
okay. Did I show you this when you were over?
No,
Okay. Well, I'm gonna step
it is
back and you can see
adorable.
it. Something else just knocked over. Oh, and Gracie killed a toy. So now there's clouds all over the floor. Anyway, this is from TikTok. It's long.
Look at
Okay.
Oh,
It goes all the
wow.
way down.
Oh, I like it.
that is really cute. I love that color too.
Mhm.
I do too. It was $9.44.
Nice.
We got a smooth criminal on this podcast.
Yeah,
She's
I love it.
stealing.
And it's
That is-
so soft.
Is it
It's not
warm?
just like regular, it's super warm. It's soft. It has pockets. It's amazing. In fact, I'm going back on TikTok to see if I can find another one. It's a little
Nice.
bit long for me, like the elbows or the shoulders come down to here.
Eh.
But that's okay because I have long arms. And so if I don't,
Mhm,
it'd be too short. Anyway,
mhm.
I love it.
It's really cute.
Awesome.
I like it a lot.
Thank you.
So overall is these people are terrible and they wasted Amy's time.
They wasted Amy's time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they wasted everybody's time, but more
Well, we don't really care
upsetting
about
that they,
Steve.
well, I'm more worried about Amy because look what it did to her
Yep.
physically
Mhm.
and emotionally.
Mhm.
And she had to leave the show.
I mean, every
and-
time she investigates a place, it's a burden on her.
Mhm.
And it affects her every way it can affect somebody. And
Mhm.
they used her for, like Amy said, an hour-long commercial
Mhm.
Mhm.
when there are other people who probably needed help more and who would do what they said, like Tracy,
Mhm.
Tracy.
who
yeah.
actually needed, wanted, and listened to what they said.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
And countless other people who have done the same
Right.
thing. Dawn. I mean, anyways, it just makes me mad
Yeah.
because it's a waste of resources and money and time and
Yeah.
Amy.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Agree.
It was a good episode. I mean, I would
It was.
suggest for sure watch it, but just, know
It was
that
an
I didn't
episode-
like it.
I would say it was an episode that was fairly well done. I thought
Mhm.
the information came through that was really
Yes.
good, but I do agree on I think that like a couple of them were there like, okay, maybe we'll finally get some answers that can help us.
Hmm.
I think the driving force behind Ian was not that. I do think
No,
that that's
was
how
money.
it was. But I do think that potentially like Terry
Mhm.
and I can't remember, there was another gentleman that was interviewed, but he wasn't in the
Yeah.
radio.
I thought his name was Michael too. That's why I was so confused by Georgia and Michael, because I was looking for the Michael in the
What I
episode
was
to
saying.
tweak.
Okay.
Let me see.
I thought his name was Michael, but it
It might
could
have
be
been.
wrong.
I wrote it down because I wrote down everybody's name.
You know,
wrote down.
I don't know
missed
if
his
you
name, and
know
I
this,
wasn't
but
gonna
I have a
rewound.
memory of a steel trap.
That's right. That's right. You got
Nothing
it.
gets
You're right.
through
Steel
it.
trap or
Andrew.
steel sieve.
So
Andrew.
close. I was
He
so
worked
close.
and lived there. He worked at the front desk, bartending, maintenance.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
He lived there for 7 months, and
Yep.
he's a jack of all trades there. Yep.
Yep.
I kept watching for him to tweak. And I'm like, he's
Yeah.
not. What is?
I saw tweaking. No,
I was
not
so
him.
confused,
No. Yeah,
which is
no, we
normal.
were-
Like it was a Tuesday for me. So
Don't
it's not
worry.
like,
Last week we had mercury in the microwave, so
That's
yeah.
right.
there was a lot
That
of
should
crap
be
going
done by
on.
now.
It
It
is
should be done by now.
It is done now.
Okay.
New Year's Eve, we passed Old Piper Inn, and I thought it
Ooh.
said Ole, and I was like, why the fuck would somebody name their restaurant Ole Piper Inn? And I laughed for 10 minutes about it. I thought it was hilarious. And
Ole.
John goes, do you mean Ole Piper Inn?
Yeah, the one in Blaine there.
Yeah,
Yep.
yes.
They
And I
have
was
really
like,
good
why the
pizza.
Fuck would they name it Ole? That makes no sense.
It's
You're right. It
Mexican pizza.
doesn't.
It doesn't. You're right. That's exactly what John said. He said they didn't because that doesn't make sense.
Correct.
Yes.
I was going to say, speaking of Mercury and retrograde, this is why we're doing the next episode next week.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. Last
Because-
week was fucking weird.
Because, yeah. And it's mostly my fault because when I wrote the script for the episode previous to that, I put the season number and the episode number and the description, but I didn't put the title.
Yep.
Mm.
And so I don't know how
It was
Amy decided that the one that was the season 8, episode 10 or whatever that was, how she decided
11.
that wasn't the right one. But
because I went into there's episode 96, not script, but it was AI overview and
Oh,
of
yeah.
the episode. And it actually was of Influence to Kill,
Yeah.
which is the one we're going to be covering next week.
Oh,
And I was like, but I don't remember some of this stuff. And so then I was texting with Amy and she's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I was doing my own research and I found the right title. No,
I'm like,
Amy,
I
you
didn't
found the
even
wrong
watch that
one.
one. So you're not looking at my notes. I don't know what you're looking at. I haven't
Amy's
even seen that
like,
one.
what are you even talking about?
I still haven't seen that. I mean,
Like,
I haven't seen the one.
Just
that
trying
she's
to
talking
like
about.
grab somebody's hand and we're just both like, no,
Yeah.
no. And
Yeah,
it
so
took forever
It's a
until I was,
miracle that this is happening with the way that we've all been.
well, hey, you know what? So next week's episode is
Yes.
Influence to Kill. It is
Mhm.
a good one. It does involve a child. Yep, being tormented a little bit.
One of the
That's rough.
clients.
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
poor baby.
So it is Influence to Kill, which confusingly is season 8, episode 11, which last week's episode was Lust to Kill.
Mm-hmm.
Season
Now
8,
who's
episode 10.
running out of titles?
Exactly.
Exactly. Oh my.
Oh
Yes.
my.
So,
So don't come at me next time.
this one aired September 1st of 2017. It is one that I watched by accident, but I decided since I already did that work that we're also still just going to keep going with it.
Let's
But
just do it.
it's
That
actually
sounds good.
it's actually a really interesting one. A grandfather buys a house or father buys a house for his daughter. And somehow they're saying that they were only in this house for 6 months before the dead files was there. So that's where it's a little interesting to me.
They had to
Unless
have called him
Grandpa
like
called-
right away.
We've got
It never is
somebody
less
with
than 6
abilities.
months.
Yeah.
Good.
We've got somebody with
Okay.
abilities. We've got basically a portal.
Oh,
Oh my.
all right.
Shadow
Oh
people
my.
to a shadow people realm.
All right.
And
The
we've
best kind of portal.
yeah. So it's got some interesting things, some vibes that
think-
feel off
Is there?
with-
Oh, I hate when the vibes are off.
when it feels off with at least one of the owners to me.
Okay.
Do you think there's ever people, like living people, can ever go through portals? Or is it only
Oh.
like dead people?
I don't want to spoil this episode for you.
Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Hint, hint.
Mhm.
All right.
We'll just say there's something Amy's very concerned about.
Hmm. Okay.
hmm I think you may remember this one when you see it. You've most likely seen it before. When you see one of the drawings, you're going to be like, oh shit, yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So there's
That's
more than
probably
one
for
sketch.
Amy.
There are 2 sketches.
Oh, good.
That's a for Amy. I probably, even if I've seen it before,
And Dory
probably
will have
don't.
forgotten.
Dory forgets. Yeah. Dory. It's a miracle I remember my own child.
Well, it's a good one.
Okay.
Good,
I'm
good.
excited.
Yeah, I am too. I'll watch that then this
Yeah.
week, I guess.
Good
That's
call.
probably good.
Probably a good idea, huh?
Considering we record Monday.
I'll watch it Monday. No.
Hey,
will
there
watch
is
it.
nothing wrong with that. Okay.
I
there is
watched
for
last
me.
week's episode the day of because, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But that's
okay.
because you didn't intend to watch it the day of.
Right.
No,
You messed it up.
I sure
I
did.
always try to watch it early because I'm always afraid that something's going to happen if I wait till the last minute. Something's going to happen at that last minute time and I'm not going to be able to do it. And then I'm going to be fucked. So I'm
You
the
got
same way
time
with
tonight,
work.
I bet.
Yeah, but now when I'm done with
Too
this,
late.
now Greg's going to want to watch. We're watching School Spirits.
Oh, we
Nice.
finished it. Oh, you got him to watch it now?
Yeah, I wanted to watch it again, so we started. So
I'm
we'll
still
probably
in
watch
Shadow
that.
and Bone. I thought
Um,
the season is good, Amy. I like it
What?
so far.
It
Not
is
you, Amy,
good.
other Amy.
Oh, I was going
It
to say,
is
what
good,
did I
but
say?
I think that
didn't do it.
there's some lacking of a couple of characters' development throughout the whole season when you look at it, and you're just kind of like, okay, now we're just somebody throwing a tantrum again.
Mm.
Okay.
I mean, I'm very disappointed that it was canceled.
I'm seriously upset that it's canceled.
Yep.
Yeah.
Had a few of those
Very
shows.
upsetting. But
if you haven't
Netflix
watched,
is one, they like to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you, Jordan. But yeah, it's, oh my God. What's his name? Kilgren, the super bad guy.
Yeah.
He is so freaking hot. OMG.
Eh.
Dark and brooding, just my type.
Yeah, I feel like that would get annoying.
That's
No,
true.
he's all right, but I guess not my wheelhouse as much.
Yeah.
Sure. That's fine. Teach their own.
Mhm.
More for me.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I probably won't watch it tonight
Henry
because we're
Cavill,
gonna
The
be
Witcher.
What was that?
oh Henry Cavill and The Witcher.
Mhm.
Oh God, those
He's too big
pants
for
that
me.
are
Creeps
painted
me out.
on
Too big.
just means he can pick you up and push you against
Yeah.
the wall
I don't like that.
I'm
in
a
those
12-year-old.
pants.
I mean,
Okay.
he's attractive. I understand that, but
He's
doesn't do it for me.
beautiful. He's perfection. He was in the Count of Monte Cristo, the movie.
Jesus, that's a 20-year-old throwback.
Yeah, it's such a good movie though. That's one of my favorite movies ever. But he was the Mercedes son. If you've seen it, which
movie, I've seen it.
oh, it's so good. God, it's one of my favorite movies. Anyway,
there's a
I'm
face.
sorry.
Oh, it's a child.
I'm all over the place tonight.
Yeah, that's okay. We all are.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. All right. Well, we can wrap it up. Wrap it up.
Oh my God, from the Subway commercial?
Yes.
I say that all the time.
I do too. I didn't know. I went one year.
We are so connected, Amy.
I dressed as her for Halloween one time. And
The wrap it up girl?
Yep. And I did the whole wrap it up.
Yeah.
And then my neighbor's like, "Oh, are you the Subway girl?" And I go, "Yeah." And she goes, "Oh, I know her." Like she was friends with her. The girl
That's
that was
funny.
in the commercial. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Don't tell her I did this." And she's like, "Oh no, she'll think it's hilarious."
I'm so glad you get that because I've said that so many times and everyone is like, the fuck are you talking about?
I think I said it last week, but it was just me and Amy. So you weren't here to hear it.
Yeah, but I'm
Nope,
very
and
excited.
I obviously
No,
didn't know it.
I got you, Amy.
Yeah, thank you. I'll find the video and put it. I'll see if it's on
Please
YouTube
do.
and I'll put a link
I'm
to it
sure
in
it
our show
is.
notes. Wrap it up.
Funny.
Wrap it up. That was a good one.
That was good. All right. Well, thanks
Anyway.
everybody for listening.
If
you
you're
got
still
this
here,
far,
we love
thank
you and thank you.
If you're still here, why? Just kidding. Just kidding.
Oh.
All right. Well,
All right.
thank you for listening,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
We will talk to you next week.
Thanks,
right.
everyone. See you later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Activity Continues podcast. We really appreciate you giving us your ears for a bit. Please reach out if you have a spooky story you'd like us to share on the show. We can be reached at theactivitycontinues@gmail.com or through our website or any of our socials. Links are all in the description of the show. Please feel free to drop us a note and say hi. And join us next time when the activity continues. The Activity Continues is produced by me, Amy, at Collected Sounds Media and is part of the independent Collected Sounds podcast network. We are also proud members of the Boo Pod network of super cool podcasts.
Nailed it.